Goddamn, DJ Sorrow, run that shit back.
If human beings can derive any semblance of pleasure from an activity, no matter how abhorrent or absurd, it will not only be monopolized, but it will be warped and construed in any way necessary so that every dumbass can get their grubby mitts on it, regardless of their financial, mental, or social status. Let me give you an example. If you really need to stunt your already drastically delayed 7th grade reading level to an even further degree and purchase some fire-ass weed to smoke just like Playboy Cardi, there's options for every walk of life. If it's illegal in your state, you have options. If you're too broke to afford it, there's options. There's options if weed just isn't even doing it for you anymore, and you need something that will make you even more close to death than you already are. And there's even options to tactically nuke your few remaining dendrites if you're too young to even purchase it in the first place. It is very imperative that if there is a pleasure source, it is readily available for everyone and anyone. But what about the single pleasure source all living beings possess without the need for any outside apparatus or equipment? That's right, I'm talking about sex. Oh yeah, the obese loser sex episode. Shit is about to get extremely hot and steamy in this YouTube window. I'm just kidding. The furthest I've gotten sexually was when I dropped my pencil in the 7th grade, and I bonked the top of my head on a girl's knee as she walked past my desk as I was leaning down to pick it up. What I do want to talk about is even more fire, however. Porn. Now, let's just say my relationship with porn is much like a flower blooming in the dew-coated field of a spring meadow. I've fallen in and out of love with porn, but it has never been absent when I've reached out a hand of need. And I think that's true for most other people on this planet. Regardless of whether you were in a 13-year marriage, jerking off on the toilet bowl before having to go look at the family that hates you at the dinner table and choke down your roasty wife's reheated jelly casserole, or you were an experienceless loser sitting at your $3,000 gaming setup trying to get it over with as fast as possible before the ranked league queue pops. This pleasure source is fully monopolized and readily available for everyone's needs. And I mean everyone's needs. A few days ago, I was laying in my underwear on my twin mattress, having the time of my unemployed ass life scrolling through Instagram reels. I believe I had scrolled past the 8th video in a row of Drewski smiling and talking about how fat and black he is, when I came across a video seemingly more retarded than the previous 16 million I had watched prior. This was that video.
You don't have to pinch it.
Don't pinch it?
No,
It's
because
gonna pop.
No, trust me. Okay. Because it'll be like a beach ball.
Okay, and it's just air in here?
Just there. It'll be a stuffy later.
Yeah. Okay.
See? It's pretty hard.
Bye. Huh.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
My first reaction to whatever the fuck this was complete confusion. I mean, it's just such a stupid interaction for two willing human beings to partake in. It just had to be some wacky skit that was too abstract to even be understood, right? Well, looking at his other videos, they seem to all be the exact same thing. Video after video of him holding a balloon up to some random smoking woman on the side of the street and asking them to pop the balloon with their cigarettes. And in one of these videos, it seems like he's trying to frame it as some sort of little Mario Party minigame for them to complete, where they have to burn a hole in the balloon without actually popping it. There's weird, zany pranks and intentionally awkward interactions people upload onto social media for views. I understand that, but this just seemed too fucking retarded. There's just no reality where this person is doing this either as a prank or is genuinely trying to get people to play his new cigarette balloon pop IRL indie game. Well, I didn't understand the context until I actually read this person's bio on their profile, and proudly displayed underneath that epitaph is 3,676 poorly photoshopped photos of women smoking cigarettes next to a balloon, all made by him, with a new one being posted around every 2 hours, every single day. Now, I'm not sure what genre of mental illness or childhood trauma spawns this type of behavior, but it made me realize these videos might be the single most autistic form of sexual assault ever caught on video. Just the idea that someone could get sexual satisfaction off of an interaction so incredibly silly. The women in the videos genuinely have no idea the intent behind them, and who can blame them? It's so beyond any stretch of the human imagination. What part of this elicits any semblance of sexual desire? But like most things, I'm obviously too fucking stupid to understand it. Because this Vincent van Gogh of porn has nearly 2,000 other human beings that all partake in the same hedonism. Balloons and cigarettes, balloons and cigarettes, balloons and motherfucking cigarettes. I absolutely despise the term fetish. The concept of your already hedonistic fuckfest not being enough pleasure, so you have to artificially pump it full of synthetic bullshit like feet or fat furry diaper shitting, just so you can feel an imaginary sense of euphoria. Alright, I have this really weird incel theory to throw at the wall here. Maybe the pleasure isn't hitting the same because you need to supplement it with a farting woolly mammoth in a diaper. Maybe it's not hitting the same because you indulge in it every waking moment of your life. You know what my fetish is? Basic human interaction. And since I'm too much of a fucking loser to obtain that, I might as well jerk off to women clipping their toenails onto an Xbox controller covered in sawdust. Sounds fucking fire. And not to mention, the fact that the term kink shame comes up with an actual definition in a Google search is more than enough reason to rethink the choice to continue existing. Alright, so let's get this straight. Not only is it perfectly socially acceptable for all walks of life to endlessly indulge in single night cock and cunt slamfest and then never speak to each other ever again, but it's even better if you add some deranged, degrading act into the fleeting encounter to turn the fire meter up to 11. And if you have anything negative to say about it, you are not only a close-minded incel, but also a bully. But God forbid I make a song about jerking off in my room alone. I guess my sexual experiences don't hold the same weight as normal humans. And like most degenerate activities, it seems like the usual defense of this is the tried and true, if I'm not hurting anyone, what does it matter? And not even mentioning the largest human genocide on record is tied directly to sexual pleasure, I can agree that this garbage doesn't actually cause any harm to yourself or others, like let's say teenagers overdosing on fentanyl every hour. It doesn't mean it's some completely safe and risk-free pleasure bubble for you to live inside of. One of the most interesting channels on YouTube is this guy. He was one of the pioneers of these pleasure-seeking cigarette fetishists who basically documented his body deteriorating into nothing from smoking non-stop. But I mean, he died doing what gave him the most pleasure. And in his words,
the fact of the matter is that sucking smoke in our lungs makes our dick nice and hard.
I mean, it truly doesn't matter how quickly the cancer metastasizes from your already crumbling lungs to your throat and colon. As long as your dick is nice and hard, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. And obviously, I don't need to go into detail about the dangers of chasing further sadistic pleasure sources until nothing hits the same like being caught in a hotel room by a certain YouTuber. I used to think only the most depraved of incels would be into shit like this, but I feel like it's way more common than you could ever really imagine. Like, I remember I went to high school with this guy that was just the complete epitome of the concept of the term Chad. Football team, super genius, always had some roasty by his side. Well, one day in our biology class, I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's on my Android phone while the teacher was out of the room, and this dingbat oaf asshole pointed at me and got the whole class to laugh at me. Well, later that year, I was lying in my bed, looking at his Instagram, trying to astral project myself into his body to get to live his awesome life for even just a few minutes, when I accidentally clicked on his followed accounts and saw he was following at least 30 furry porn accounts. I'd actually go so far as to say you can bet on any random person, no matter how awesome, to have some disgusting sexual interest than to not have one at all. Maybe that's why I'm a fucking loser. I mean, I can't even bring myself to jerk off more than once a week without crying, so maybe I just need to truly embrace this disturbed lifestyle. I can't be the only one left behind. I think everyone's like asleep. Wait, why are you guys sleeping? Wait, what is the point of this? Can I just watch? I'm sorry, I'm 26 and I've never been loved or anything, so can I just watch? Alright, that went fucking great.